Whoa, have you ever felt the ground just shake? It's a pretty wild feeling, isn't it? Well, today we're going to go on a little adventure deep inside our amazing planet to find out exactly what's going on down there. You ready? Let's do this.
So, that crazy shaking, we call that an earthquake. And believe me, it's one of the most powerful and honestly amazing things our planet can do. But what is it really? Like, what's actually happening? All right, let's get right into it. To really get what earthquakes are all about, I want you to picture something. Imagine our entire planet is like a giant jigsaw puzzle. And just like a real puzzle, all those big pieces, they're always moving. Yeah, that's the simple way to put it. But the reason why the ground shakes? Oh, that's the really cool part. And it all goes back to those giant puzzle pieces our whole world is built on. Okay, so picture this, the whole surface of the Earth. I'm talking the ground under the continents, even under the oceans. It isn't one big solid piece. Nope. It's actually cracked into a whole bunch of giant, kind of weird shaped pieces that all fit together. And you know what's super interesting? These puzzle pieces have a sciencey name. They're called tectonic plates. But here's the real secret. They are not standing still. Just look at this map here. You see all those pieces? Now get this. They're moving right now, but only about as fast as your fingernails grow. I know, that doesn't sound like much, does it? But when you think about millions of years, well, that tiny bit of movement really adds up. So you've got these huge, massive plates trying to slide past each other, right? But sometimes their rough edges get snagged. They get stuck. But the rest of the plate, it keeps on pushing. All that force just builds and builds and builds. It's kind of like stretching a rubber band as far as it can go. And what happens when you stretch a rubber band too far? Snap. It's the same thing here. When all that pressure gets to be too much, the stuck edges finally break free and lurch forward. All that energy that was stored up is released all at once in these huge waves. And that's the shake we feel on the surface. That's the earthquake. Okay, so if earthquakes happen where these giant puzzle pieces are rubbing up against each other, well, it makes sense that some parts of the world would shake way more often than others, right? And this map shows it perfectly. See this area called the Ring of Fire? It basically circles the whole Pacific Ocean. This is a huge chain of those plate edges, and it's where most of the world's earthquakes happen. Why? Because that's where all those puzzle pieces are constantly bumping, grinding, and getting stuck. Let's zoom in and see what's happening under our feet. The actual spot, deep underground, where the rocks finally break and the shaking starts, that's called the focus. And the spot right above it, on the surface, where we feel it the most, that's the epicenter. So next time you hear someone on the news talk about the epicenter, you'll know exactly what they mean. Now, all that energy being released is, well, it's incredibly powerful, and sometimes it can damage things we've built like roads and buildings, but that is exactly why it's so important for us to study them. The more we understand how they work, the better we can get at preparing for them, and that's where our real-life superheroes come into the story. I'm talking about scientists and engineers. These amazing people work together as a team to figure out everything they can about earthquakes and how to build a safer world for every single one of us. So you've got the scientists, right? Their job is to study the Earth to figure out where and how these quakes are going to happen. Then you've got the engineers. They take all that amazing science and use it to solve a really big puzzle. How in the world do you build something that won't break when the very ground it's on starts shaking? So how do they do it? How do you build an earthquake-proof building? Well, the answer is super clever. It's not about trying to be stronger than an earthquake. It's about being smarter. You might think you want to build something super stiff and strong, right? But engineers have learned it's actually way better to design buildings to be flexible. They use special materials and clever designs that let huge buildings and bridges actually sway and bend a little. So, what do you think? Why would being flexible be a good thing? Why would you want a giant skyscraper to be able to wiggle instead of being totally stiff like a board? Think about it for a second. It's all about going with the flow. That's it. Think about it. If something is super stiff and you push it too hard, it just snaps, right? But a flexible building can actually absorb the earthquake's energy because it moves with it. It can literally wiggle and dance with the shaking ground instead of trying to fight it and then breaking. How smart is that? Okay, let's quickly recap what we've learned because it was a lot. Number 1, the Earth is made of giant moving puzzle pieces called plates. Number 2,
Earthquakes happen when those plates get stuck, build up a ton of energy, and then suddenly slip. And number 3, our awesome science superheroes, scientists and engineers, are always working together to help keep us safe. Got it?
And really, that's the most important thing to remember. Knowledge is our best superpower. The more we learn about our incredible planet and all the amazing ways it works, the safer and happier we can all be living here together.
And, earthquakes are just one of our planet's incredible secrets that we're starting to figure out. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other amazing things is our world hiding, just waiting for us to discover? Who knows? Maybe one of you will be the one to find out. Thanks for exploring with me today.